All right, guys. Jordan, Arion, Adi, thank you so much for joining me today for this Zoom call. Today we are, coming together to really talk a lot about the uncertainty that's happening in the world. First and foremost, rest in peace, George Floyd, and so many others affected by, police, young African Americans, older, young Black men just killed at the hands of law enforcement, but not just law enforcement, just in general. And this goes a long history of things that have been going on that we're tired, bro. We're tired of thinking that we are next. We're tired that our brothers are next. We're tired of our sisters thinking that we're next. And it's just for us is finally come together and really have that level of conversation of what can we do. And we want other people to understand from our perspective. I'm tired of hearing that shit. Blue lives matter. All lives matter. Yes, I understand that. But but the thing is, we don't feel that our lives are being as valued. That's why we say Black Lives Matter. We didn't say only Black Lives Matters. We just need to feel for people to understand that our lives matters too. So from Jordan, Arion, from your guys' experiences from the past few days of the protest in the Bay Area, tell me a little bit more about like what's been happening.
Yeah, all right. I'll go first. I think it's just easier to go down this way. So I was at the San Leandro protest, I want to say 2 or 3 days ago, and I was at the Alameda protest yesterday. And I want to say first that it's understandably hard to find out about these protests because there's not a big media source propagating when they're going to happen all the time in each city or in each district. I actually ran into the SL protest on accident. I was coming home from my mama's house in Oakland, and I was going down Estudillo, and I saw just a group of young colored people marching on basically where our city hall is and where our police station is. And I rode by and I laid on the horn, and as I was riding by, I was like, you know what, I gotta get back. So I went home, changed my shoes, went back, actually stood and was in the crowd with everybody that was marching. And one thing I do want to bring up is that I know there are a lot of people out there that are wanting to join these protests and wanting to do more and wanting to become part of the process. But I'm hearing a lot of things that I'd just like to put a statement on. For example, if I've heard a lot, I want to join these protests, but I don't know where they are. Granted, I ran into a couple of them on accident, but there are ways to find out. You have the internet at your fingertips. You have people that you can text. You can ask people, hey, look, have you heard anything? You have family members. And most importantly, you have the ability to start one on your own block. You have the ability to put signs up and march down the street and talk to your neighbors and be like, listen, if it ain't happening already, we can start. Another thing that I hear a lot is, I want to go to these protests, but I don't know if they're going to go left. I don't know if it's going to turn into a riot. Whoop-de-whoop. I don't know if it's safe. And to that, I would say, do you think that when the Reverend Martin Luther King was marching after his home was getting bombed, he went out and was like, well, I want to start, but I don't feel safe? You think he was doing it out of safety? Obviously not. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to feel safe. That's something that you realize when you're out there. Is you're not supposed to be. It's not like you're doing the right. You're doing the right thing, but it's not the safe thing. And if you're willing to be the type of person that's just not going to do it out of fear, you're standing under oppression, low key with the oppressors, because they don't want you to riot either. They don't want you to mob either. They don't want you to stand up either. Right. So to anybody who has that argument, I would just say, listen, we were out there, and there's a sense of power that you feel that overcomes that fear once you're on the ground. There's a sense of community, looking around and being like, yo, this is my city. I grew up here. I'm still here. And they're actually riding for a cause that protects me. there's something in that that is way more valuable than sitting down and just kind of, oh, it's crazy outside. So I would give that argument as to.
Hey, I'm gonna say one thing right now, real quick, bro. Don't call it a riot. This is an uprising.
This is a revolution, bro.
This is revolution.
Real talk. This is how it starts. This is really how it starts. If you look at it, we are in the fascist states of America.
Yep.
And for a country that has gone to war against fascism, it's deadly ironic that we are now a fascist country. We're suppressing the media. We are killing citizens. We have a president who is a dictator, and is deeply evil. And now we're sick of it. And it took George Floyd to reignite this fire, but it doesn't stop with him, I believe.
Arion, from your perspective, bro, what have you seen for the protests that are happening back in the Bay Area? And, what are some things you've seen and what's going on? Well, let us know about that, bro.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so just a little piggyback about what Jordan was saying. When people are kind of asking, like, where these protests are happening, like I said, it's so many resources out there to find out where things are at. I mean, if you're really serious about getting involved, you will make a way. You know what I mean? You'll find a way to get involved. So when they ask that question, it's kind of like you're not really serious about doing anything. You know what I mean? Because if it's something that you really wanted to do, you would go through all lengths to try to find out how to get there. And that's just me calling bullshit. Yeah. Another thing, when he said that people were scared, to being out there. And like I said, I'm the type of person. I'll try to see both perspectives. It's like there's a fear, you know what I mean, as Black men, Black women being out there protesting, you're putting your lives on the line for a greater cause. But like he said, like when Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and all these civil rights leaders came before us, they were walking outside with suits on in Alabama, you feel me, with steppers on and dresses on and like 95-degree weather, you know what I mean? Like, so, and we get to dress how we want to dress, you know what I mean? Shorts on, flip flops, whatever. And we complain about safety. You know what I mean? Like they had it way worse. They were going through in the thick of it. We're really living it, but they were going when it first started. So there was no containing that. Like, you know what I mean? They was in it. They had no choice. You know what I mean? So when people say safety, that's the risk that you're taking for a great cost. I mean, and if you're not able to take that risk or want to take that risk, that's fine. Just stay home. But, don't complain about what people are doing in the media. Don't complain about all the looting. Don't complain about all these things. Because if you're not able to put yourself in the front lines, you know what I mean, or afraid to put yourself in the front lines, then, I mean, hey, that's another voice that's not going to be heard, in my opinion. Right. Like Jordan, I did see the San Andrew one. I rode past. I had just came back from Oakland when I was picking up my daughter. But I went to the one in Oakland. It was led by some of the Warriors. A friend of mine named Art, he invited me to it. He said one of the rookies.
Juan Toscano, right?
Yeah.
With the CV High, yeah.
Yeah. So he was out there leading it. I didn't know who he was, honestly. He was so a buck. But when I went out there, it was so many Black people in unity. It was no drama. It was no fighting. And this is why I knew like how serious this was. They made sure they made sure everyone didn't disperse. So people walk fast. You know what I mean? They made sure everybody, no, we stay together. We had to stop like once or twice. So we all come together, be one big group and walk together. Every intersection we went to, we stood there for 2 minutes. We shouted at George Floyd. We took a knee. We talked amongst each other. We got to connect with one another. And then when this happened, this is how I knew everyone was there for the right purpose. Because Stephen Curry, Aisha, Klay Thompson, they were all in the crowd. I was sitting with my wife, and we were sitting there, and I was looking to my right, and Stephen Curry's like 2 people down. Well, only I know because I saw Aisha, and I was like, that woman looks familiar. I said, oh, it's Aisha Curry. And I looked up, it's Steph. He had the glasses and stuff like that. But people, 9 times out of 10, knew who he was, but they were just walking right past him because nobody was on that hype. You know what I mean? Like, everybody was I'm here here for the autographs. We here for a whole different purpose. He out here doing his thing. Everybody out here doing their thing. And so I thought that was so cool to see. Like, these are local heroes, you feel me? And we're out there for the same cause. Just to see how many influencers and models and actors and like just creators come together, you know, in that sense, and producer, everybody stopped what they were doing. You know what I mean? To come to that march, and it was no drama, no nothing, no animosity, nothing. And so I just feel like, according to the media, that was one of the most peaceful protests they've seen in a while. And I feel like it started there, man. Like, our voices need to be heard. A lot of stuff going on in the media that they're not telling the truth. You know, they're making it seem like Black people are the ones starting this looting. And you know what I mean? I'm like, this is not true, man. Like, I feel like, and this is, I say this with a sternness, I feel like there are a lot of people that probably are, you know, for the cause, want equality for Black people, for our culture, for our race. But there are some people that are literally just taking advantage of our pain and using it to break laws, to have fun, and, you know what I mean? And you're making us as a unit look very bad.
Yeah, bro, I have something to touch up on that, right? Because, like, I remember this past weekend, dude, I was talking to my dad about this whole entire situation, right? And he showed me two perspectives. I'm like, Dad, I hate it how people are profiting off of the killing of George Floyd, right? I hate that. And he's like, you can look at it that way, or you can look at it at this perspective. Imagine living in a country where no matter how hard you work, you're still treated like a second-class citizen, right? No matter how hard you work, no matter how much you still don't make enough to be able to live day by day, paycheck to paycheck. So people are sometimes, again, there's two things, right? There's people looting to profit off of that, yes, but there's people also looting, be like, dude, we're angry, we're tired of having how much money is taken out from taxes. We're tired of like living jobs that we hate. We're tired of, you know, being treated like, you know, a certain way when we're out in public, that, you know, sometimes people follow us around stores, right? So you know what? I'm going to go to that same exact store that I was being followed around, and I'm going to take that TV that I need, right? And sometimes that's where perspective, for me, for right now, where I stand on that, like that's up for other folks, right? But my dad provided me with that perspective as well, where people being angry and going to those stores and looting, right? Because that's one point. What do you guys think about that perspective?
You can go ahead, George. I got you.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I will definitely say that I do believe Asian provocateurs are a thing. I've seen them. I know that there are organizations, secret underground organizations that pay people to start looting. It's a deeply insidious thing, but at the same time, because I've had people tell me, I've had family members tell me, we want to do something, but it's just not right that these looters are making the cause look bad. But I'm like, first off, these looters are not here by themselves. They're not here out of nowhere. This happened because a man was murdered. The only reason they're looting is because an uprising is happening. It's not like two separate things. Right. If you think that makes our cause look bad, I don't think you're not looking at the whole cause. It's like, of course. Well, first off, we're seeing at the tipping point of this, at the top of this, is the message, please stop killing us. But under that is an entire, force of a class revolt. We're
Classism.
seeing the rebirth of the French Revolution. The bourgeoisie have had their run of America since it was incepted. And we're waking up to it. We're seeing the information. We know these corporations don't care. We know they don't care about us. I was playing SoundCloud earlier, and you know how they give you commercial breaks. And one came on, and it was like a McDonald's commercial, and it was like, this guy in just this like sad voice, and he was like, "We know it's hard times, but McDonald's is here for you. I was like, when McDonald's ever been here for me, bro? You've been feeding us garbage, actual garbage, since you became a company. You've been taking from minorities and feeding them trash and keeping yourself alive in these communities by not feeding these people. Because and this is a fact, when you don't get proper nutrition, you don't function properly mentally.
That's true. And actually, bro, imagine this, right? So why is there so many McDonald's? Like, let's talk about our geographic location, right? Why is there so many McDonald's in Oakland, San Leandro? And how many can you name in San Leandro? No, a lower income community.
I can think of
four or five.
4 or 5, yeah.
But name, and Arion, you probably know this better than I do. Name them how many are in Oakland, just right by each other. Right?
I know 3 of them that's like within 4 blocks of each other.
Within 4 blocks of each other, right? It's the same thing, bro. Like, that's the thing, though. Everyone thinks like McDonald's is, I'm not trying to talk, I'm going to talk a little business sense, right? McDonald's whole business isn't just about selling burgers. It's real estate. And it's real estate in lower income communities.
The founder.
Yeah. Oh, the founder with Ray Kroc.
If you've seen the movie, you know what I mean.
He's fucking crook, bro.
You know what I mean? But yeah, big corporations like this, like, I mean, as I said, the conversation can be so broad, but I have to find a way to condense it to something that, you know, that's what Jordan was talking about with the looting. I personally, I don't care that people are looting. I don't care. Now, what I do, this is when I have a problem.
Yeah.
I have a problem when you're looting small businesses and looting Black-owned businesses at that. Yeah. Because I might think about this pandemic, a lot of people not working. Their business are going underwater now. So you're looting, you're destroying their stores for them to come back to nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And these are not the people these are not the people that's making your life miserable. You feel me? Like these are people that are supporting you when those big corporations can't.
Yes.
I mean, and they've been for 20, 30 years. People build they like heart, sweat, and tears into that business, and then for you to come in there and steal it. So, like, for example, Blunts and More in Oakland, right? It's a Black-owned cannabis club, right?
Shout out,
they put, it was like 60 cars pulled up and ransacked that whole cannabis club. I'm like, what did this cannabis club have to do to you? Like, what did they do to you? Now, places like Target, Walmart, man.
Go right ahead.
Go ahead and do your thing. Best Buy, all that. But places like that, though, or places like Oaklandish, or like the old grandma that has her sewing shop or something, whatever. You know what I mean? This make up the community. That's why I have a problem. But the looting wise, I just feel like people.
Bro, hold on.
I don't know. I feel like I've lived in San Leandro for so long that I see it. But I lived in San Leandro for so long, but my life is in Oakland.
Right.
So I start seeing perspective. I'm like, dang, I feel like I'm feeling privileged or something. Cause I was like, dang, like, yes, I try to go in and out, and we can't go in and out because of the curfew, because of stuff that's going on. But I'm saying I'm okay with the looting, but I'm mad at the looting going on because I can't get to where I want to get to. I think that's like a trap. Like, I'm like, oh my God. You know what I mean?
But at the same time, it's like if you're like the manager of a store that gets looted, you can look at it and be like, oh, these riot or whatever. Or you can be like, you know what, this is only happening because Black people are getting murdered, period.
Right.
So I need to double down on my stance so that this doesn't happen again. It's 2 ways to look at it. I don't know if you guys can hear very faintly, but I'm actually hearing like a lot of car horns. I think they're
Oh, I hear that, yeah.
Yeah, you hear that?
Yeah, I hear that.
I know that.
Wow. Where are you at?
Bro, I'm back in Roseville right now.
Oh, you hear it in my mic?
Yeah, I hear your mic, bro. But the thing is, it sounds like through my mic and through my headphones.
Yeah,
it sounds like a ship horn going off.
Yeah, no, it's I think it's the freeway at this point. Like the direction I'm seeing it could be Davis Street. But.
For sure. And Jordan, I did want to touch base on what you said earlier about people. But basically it's a time and place. I think Ahira said it actually about time and place. when people was like all lives matter and like Black Lives Matter, and I feel like this. We're not saying that your life doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We're just saying that there's a time and place for everything. Mm-hmm. If a dude made a good example, he said, say there's two houses. One is on fire, one is not on fire. Yeah. The fireman comes up to us and says, "Hey, cool, I'm gonna go to the one that's on fire." The one that's not on fire says, "Hey, what about my house? Yeah, stuff happens to my house all the time." But it's like, is yours on fire right now?
Nope.
You feel me? So it's like, I'm like, they're missing the point. Like all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
Yeah, it's kind of just a disgusting defense that doesn't hold up anymore. We're calling as a world, we're calling bullshit on these arguments that if you're all lives matter is racist because you're ignoring and trying to overbear the point that Black people are dying overwhelmingly more than other people.
And bro, you know what's hella unfortunate, bro? Like when you see like a lot of like, I'm gonna say like this, social media influencers that will say all lives matter, and then like they're talking about they hate when people say Black lives matter, like all lives matter. What are you talking about, right? But it's the same exact people that are like, they want to love Black culture, they want to love the music, but they don't love us, bro. Everyone wants everyone wants to say nigga, but no one wants to be a nigga.
But look, hold on. But look, this is the thing. I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people love Black people for their talent and the need of Black people, not for the Black person as a whole. For example, I just had a discussion about this with somebody the other day. I said all these D1 athletes, all these athletes coming out of high school, going to the college or transferring to a D1, whatever, all these big schools, please consider, and I understand from my athletic perspective because I've been an athlete in that position, please consider going to an HBCU. Only reason why I say that is because you don't see Oklahoma or Bama or all these big schools, Pac-10 schools on the front lines talking about Black Lives Matter. But they'll sit in your living room all day long and be like, "Hey, I want you to come to my school. You offer this facility, this and that." But if all those D1 athletes went to a HBCU, and as time goes on, those facilities that they have at the big schools, they can have the HBCUs. They can have the same reputation, the same crowd, same funding, because they only want you to go to that school to sell a ticket. Because ultimately, everybody's coming to see you. They're not coming to see the coach. They're not coming to see the team as a whole. They come to see you play with the team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And oh my God, like that was so annoying. Like stop doing it. Y'all giving them money, bro. Like Nick Saban makes $10 million a year as a college coach.
As a college coach, bro.
Damn. He makes more. He literally makes more than the average NFL coach. That's why you think what's his name? Harbaugh. I think Harbaugh went to Michigan. He left the Niners and went to Michigan because he's making more money. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's just like people gotta just wait. Like all these athletes, like LeBron, all them. I honestly feel like this upcoming season that's about to happen, no one should play. And I know, it's better said than done, but no one should play.
Because you mess up the white folks' money. You mess up
money. That's why they really mad right now about the looting. You messed up their money.
Yes, and I will say this till the day that I die: the only way to hit white America is in their pockets.
You messed up their pockets, bro.
There's the number one thing that I've been saying, and I said this to my coworkers today in the Zoom meeting. I've said it. Ahira knows I've been saying this. Dollars circulate, and they purposely don't teach us financial literacy because when you learn how simple it is, you automatically gain power.
I want to speak on that about the circulation of money, right? My dad taught me this one thing. How many times does a black dollar go around? One time. How many times does the Chinese dollar go around? 16 times.
They got Chinatowns, bro.
16 times. And there's reason why. Let me tell you about this, right? When you look at the community, in Chinatown, right? The community of Chinatown, right? You know, Arion, I know you want to speak. No, so I'm just quick. I'm gonna hurry this up.
I'm gonna let Jordan speak first. He has a floor neck.
Because the thing is, like 16 times, right? So if you think about what's in Chinatown, right? Laundromats, black. Restaurants, black. The delivery companies, black. The banks, the laundromats, Chinese owned. The restaurants, Chinese owned. The stores, Chinese owned. The markets, Chinese owned. Delivery companies, Chinese owned. Everything's Chinese owned, right? So to circulate all over.
Yeah.
So then, and that's the thing though. We try to do that to have our own community. Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1929, right?
I believe it's 29. Yes.
But you know why?
Hmm.
You know why we can't do that? Why we never do it? PTSD, post-traumatic slave syndrome. You know what that means? You feel me? So, you feel me? So this is what it is. So back in that day, you feel me? White people, especially when we were a slave era, you were, of course, treated as a second-class citizen. You had to fight basically for your life, your life, pretty much, while being a slave. So it's like whoever nigga was good that day was the nigga that got to stay alive the next day. You ever heard of Mandingo fighting?
Yep. You seen that in Django.
Right, but that's
real.
Tarantino, because his movies are very. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
So fast forward, all that trauma, all that stress and stuff that Black people have endured for so many years is passed down through generation to generation. So when you put Black people into a system where there's lack of resources, they're already going to fail. They're destined to fail before they even begin. And then you make money you make money powerful. You make the dollar powerful for Black people in a community that has lack of resources. The only thing they care about is that. So when I get money, I'm not going to share with nobody else, because I know that it's hard for me to get this money. We're not building to wealth. So like now, white people, they get money. That's a normal thing. That's why you see drug dealers and stuff. That's why you see rappers. They lead a hood. You feel me? Because they like, I got my shit. I'm about to keep it pushing because I'm somebody hating on me or somebody trying to kill me because they have lack of resources. But that's white people doing that shit.
Right. And to kind of double back on what I was saying about circulation of money, and to touch on Ahira's point is, when you, for example, I've made a conscious decision. I don't shop at Amazon anymore. Clean off that since quarantine started, because I knew, I was like, even without the racial aspect to it, he's gonna make $1 trillion off of us, so you can have 2-day shipping. Well, literally, and you can look this up, a woman died on the Amazon warehouse floor because they overworked her to death. They have to pee in bottles and they don't get breaks. Also, you can have 2-day shipping. What is wrong? What happened to patience? What happened to being like, you know what, I ordered something, I can't wait till it gets here. You really can wait. If you're alive tomorrow, you can wait. You know what I mean? I ordered this. I'll give another example of just things I've been doing to give sort of like things other people can do easily. My hair care products. I had to have my ex-girlfriend, God bless her heart, and my mom really take care of me when it comes to skincare. And one of the main things they said is like, Jordan, you got to stop using these products that don't work for your skin type or don't work for your hair type. And so now
that is so true, bro.
Instead of L'Oreal, where you see them, you give your money to Target and it disappears, I have African black soap made by a Black woman in Delaware. I have her DM. I can thank her personally for keeping my scalp clean. It's
bro, it's so funny that it's so funny that you it's so funny that you say that, bro, because I remember my ass back in high school, I started using Proactive, right? And then my dad came over.
Proactive.
My mom bought me the stuff. Don't stop. Hold on. Anyways, this is why I'm trying to stop.
It's like going to Supercuts.
It's like going to Supercuts, bro. I went to Supercuts one time when I was 8, and they fucking we never went back.
Never again. Come on.
Never again, bro. And so I'm gonna say it like this, bro. All right, so I was using Proactive, right? And then I remember my dad picked me up one weekend, and he was using the bathroom, and then he went out, and he was like, "What the hell is this?" And I'm like, "It's my skincare product." And he's like, "You cannot use this shit because this is for white people. You can't use it. This is for white folks." And I was like, I didn't really understand that because I was 14 years old, bro, right? So I didn't really understand that. And then because I was like, he's like, "You see this shit? They're gonna make you want to keep on reusing this, so it's not really going to clear out your skin. It's just going to help make it break out more. And you need stuff that's more clean, right? When shaving products, you gotta. I think it's called Black Magic. He used it on me. So for shaving products, right? You have to use something that's gentle on your skin, because the thing is, our skin for our skin is a lot different than
keloid skin.
Yeah, man, I got keloids I can show you. Arion, I know you feel this because we have the same type of curly hair. Folliculitis is big on us, and you literally have to buy the products and apply it right away so that you don't get razor bumps. And they'll never understand that because when you have straight white hairs coming out, it's totally different.
Man, talk about skincare. Oh my gosh.
And then, bro, like that's all. But the thing is, when we're having this conversation, right? This is all part of the struggle that we have to buy. Like we're buying products that is just like, okay, it's not for us, you know. And the thing is, we have to find a specialty for us to be able to buy that. You know what I mean?
But
that's
part of our game. That's how we got to play it. We have to give our dollars to things that specifically are for us. That's how the white people do. So I mean, see how that works.
But I have to switch gears for this real quick, bro. I really have to switch gears because Jordan, you were with me the last time I got pulled over.
Yes.
You were with me. And then we have, again and again, this is why we're here, is to talk about the social injustices that Black people face at the hands of the police. Yeah. But Arion, I want to ask you something too before me and Jordan tell our story, right? When was the last time you got pulled over and what was it for? And how did you feel through that situation?
Oh man. So I'm such a goofy person, so I don't know why I didn't get arrested. But anyway, no. So what happened? I was on my way home, whatever. From 7-Eleven, I got me like some 2 Fantas, whatever. So I'm around the corner from my house. Keep in mind, I used to live right by a police station.
Mm-hmm. I remember, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like Memorial Day, whatever. So I'm driving, and a sheriff pulls me over, and I'm like, okay, whatever. He said, hey, you know you had a tail light out? And I was like, oh, honestly, I didn't know that. He said, license registration, all that stuff. And then he's like, where you coming from, man? I'm coming from the store. He said, you got eating drugs and you drinking alcohol all night? I said, no, just these Fantas. And then he was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm sure. And then he's like, okay, took my license, whatever. Came back. He said, can you step in the car, please? I'm just like, all right. I'm like, okay, cool. So then I got the car. He makes me do the sobriety test 3 times. Oh, and before you guys say that story, I gotta tell you a scary story too. But 3 times. And I'm like, there was nothing about me that was drunk. I said you can check the car and stuff and everything, but like it was just that situation. And then this is why I thank God, because I could have literally been another face on a poster. So I'm in my car. You remember my Chrysler I had?
Yeah, the black one.
Yeah, so I had like tents all around, like wherever. So in the neighborhood I lived in, everyone knows I lived in that neighborhood. Like if you've been there, you've seen our family, the only black people, the only niggas on the block.
Yeah, bro, you're like right up the street from me, bro.
Yeah, so I'm sitting in my car, I'm cupcaking or whatever, and I'm coming on the phone, whatever, in the car, and this lady pulls up to my car, like her truck. I run the window, I'm like, huh? And she said, hey, you need to leave. A Hispanic lady. It was crazy. So she said, you need to leave. And I was like, what are you talking about? You broke in my house last week and this, and that. I was like, what? She's like, I don't even know you. She said, no, I'm calling the police and this and that. I'm just like, okay, whatever. So then as I go in the, I said, you crazy. I'm not crazy, you crazy. She drives off. So I'm sitting outside and I'm talking to my mom about the situation and stuff. And a police car is like circling like around the neighborhood. And they finally pull up and see me. And then my mom comes outside. She was so pissed because she was like, do you understand how dangerous that was for her to call the police on somebody that lives here? Lives I live across from my house, like lives in the community, and you came to see about a black man, suspicious black man in the neighborhood that he lives at for like 15 plus years. And then so dude's like, yeah, I understand, you know what I'm saying? Like he was very cool about it, but I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like he said had it been like a hothead cop, which like from the Marines or like from any military that came up to me or whatever on suspicion or whatever, it could have ended a different way.
It could have went sideways, bro.
Right.
That could have went so sideways.
But the dangerous thing about her is that when she pulled up to me, what if I blew her head off? Mm-hmm. She didn't care. Like, I'm like, you didn't care. If I was that person that was a threat, what if I blew your head off when I run the window down? I had tents. You can't see my face. Mm-hmm. So then the next day, my mom confronts the woman. turns out the woman doesn't even live in the neighborhood.
Never does.
And I'm like, and her mom lives there. And her mom like, I know who these people are. Like, what the heck?
So it's just a late.
Yeah, man, that's just frustrating. It's
You
happening.
know,
You know, me.
so that right there was like, my mom was so pissed. And I understood the situation, but I didn't understand it to that degree until we kind of like, it kind of slowed down for a couple of days. Like, oh, okay, you know what? That actually was a dangerous situation to be in right there.
For sure. Hey, first and foremost, bro, let's give a shout out to our moms for raising young, exceptional black men. Like, for
real big shout out,
moms. Real shout out for our moms, for our queens raising young black men. See, the thing is, I have black sisters, I have black grandmas and black aunts, but my mom, I'm a product of biracial relationships. So my mom's Mexican, but for her to understand how to raise young black men was exceptionally hard because she had to understand, and she did, but she got a lot of help. And it's like there's a lot of things we could talk about going up to like how you have to raise young black men differently, right? Remember this, before we get to our police story, we have two things, right? We have the birds and the bees talk. It's called the talk, right? The birds and the bees, and what we have to do when we get stopped by the police. Oh, and we got that at age 11, age 12, right? When we start getting to middle school.
Or when you go into the store.
Or when you go into the store.
Yeah.
All right. We'll get into that, bro. But like Jordan, start us off about how that this was almost 3 years back, July 2017, when we got pulled over, and what happened.
So we were at the marina, like everybody in SL has a right to be.
Yep.
And it was like dusk. I think we were pulling out of the marina because, you know, when you see the cops roll to the marina, it's like that's just the cue to like dip.
Right.
Yep.
If you don't have to be there. So we're dipping out, and then we're one of the last people out, and we're in Ahira's white Benz. And it was the white one, right? Not the black one?
Yeah, it was the white Benz. The white one.
Okay, so we're pulling out, and we get pulled over by these cops, and I believe it was it
was a Mexican cop and a white lady.
Was the lady was white, or I thought she was the Mexican one?
No, the Mexican dude, the dude was Mexican. The lady was white, but she was the one that was giving a hard time.
Yeah. Well, I want to say Latino. I'm not sure if he was Mexican. But essentially, she was like, you know, this is a really nice car. What are you boys doing out here? And I had my phone in my hand because this was not too long after unfortunately, it's part of our experience that we forget these names so quickly because they happen so often. But it was right after police brutality on another young black soul, and like, why do you have your phone out? And I was like, do you watch the news? Like, you pulled us over, and it's so many. It's
all the cars.
So possible that you could have done the same thing. You know, like I just want you to be aware that, of course, and I have a right to record. I don't know if you know that, but I really do.
Yeah,
it's not a threat to you. You know?
So like this is how it happened, right? So we leave our homie's car, right, and then we get into my car, and then I told Jordan, I was like, "Fuck, bro, I don't want to be the last one out." Jordan's like, "Bro, you're gonna be good. You know, it's all right. It's all right." So the thing is, hence what, like, I just got the car, so 3 weeks into it, so I had the temporary plates on, right? So they pull us over, and then what happens was, the cop tells me to roll down the window, and then he's like, if I have a license or registration, right? So I have my license, but the thing is, what I do is, this is a huge mistake, and this is why I want people to understand, like, this is what we have to do. So my wallet is in the middle compartment. So I tell him I'm just reaching over to the middle compartment so I can be able to get my wallet, because my wallet's in my license. My license is in my wallet, so I can show him. And then Jordan has his phone, has under, next thing you know, you hear it loud, "Hey, get off your phone. I don't want to be on your social media." And then it's both scared, both me and him. I didn't know there's two cops. We really didn't. And then, so what happened was, I told Jordan, I'm a very private person, right? I told Jordan, I'm like, "Bro, really not the right time to be doing this," right? And then, I kind of escalated a little bit, my apologies on that, bro, because I'm also a little nervous right now too as well.
Yeah,
I was like, "Bro, really not the right time to do that." And then the cop, the male cop was like, yo, "You're at about a 10 right now. You need to bring it back down to a 2. And like, I'm like, "I'm sorry, sir. Like, I'm a very private person. I just, I'm sorry." Like, it's just just trying to explain to him. You're like, no, it's okay. Just calm down. Just calm down. And then, they read and then she's like, okay, so she reads the license plate. So what happens is we have the temporary registration on the front, on the bottom right of the windshield. And then she reads it off. And then, so she reaches off to the officer and then trying to explain to her about the car. So she was like, yo, so this is a very nice car. No, what is that you guys do for a living? And then I was like, well, I have my own, I'm an internet tech company at the time. And, also have my own business. And me and my friend right here have our own business. And she's like, you guys are profiting off that much? And like, well, I'm not telling anyone about our business, right? I'll just say, we seem to manage and we're just doing what we have to. And she's like, so what does your parents do? What do your parents do for a living? And then I was like, well, my dad's a real estate broker and my mom's a nurse, and like, so your parents are very well off. Like I said, we're just managing right now. I'm just saying to manage because I'm not trying to give off that type of information.
Yeah.
And so like, where do you guys live? I'm like, well, we still live with our parents. Like, oh, that's why you're able to afford this car. And like,
No.
So we're just like, okay, man, because she's like, well, based on off our police salary, we can't really be able to afford this. And remember, Jordan, when she said that?
Yeah.
Like, that's not the level of conversation that we're having. That's not the point.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, okay, well, it's like now when she's saying that, it's just like, all right.
Now it's like she's on some broke shit. Like if you pulled us over because you couldn't afford this car, and you're racist. So
and then, so bro, like,
tricky situation, and I totally understand why you said what you said, and I hope you understand why I did what I did. But like, it's one of those times where it's like, oh, really? What do I do?
Yeah, and bro, remember she was telling us like, so like, no, they had us there for like good 15 minutes, bro, 15, 20 minutes talking to us, right? And then the lady was like, no, so we can understand why you guys may be a little jumpy just because of what you guys see on social media and in the media. And like, well, like, of course we, like, Jordan and I started looking at each other, kind of getting a little mad, but of course, as calm as possible, like, well, yeah, just because, we never know what's going to happen, right? And so the police officer, I still remember his name is Aaron. And then, because I remember shaking his hand, and then I don't know if I should have done that, but because you never know. But he was actually the nice one, right? He was like, but he said to us, he was like, well, also want to, add something else. You didn't have to say that about, you reaching to the meal compartment to get your license. I'm like, but how am I supposed to know though? Yeah. How am I supposed to know?
I kind of did have to say that.
I have to say that. That's what we're trying to do. But that's the thing though. My mistake is like, now always have your license and your registration above on the visor. So on the clip. Yeah. So that way it's right there ready for you. We have to show our hands at all times. And that's just one incident for us to get pulled over. And I remember Jordan, he tweeted fuck 12. And then I remember saying that, mentioned him. I was like, bro, we're not going to do that right now.
Fuck 12?
You said
really?
You fuck 12. I mean, right. Like, we're not going to do that right now. But we're both heated because the thing is that's our experience, right? And the lady just kept on egging us on. And then before we switched to another story, you know what she said? She's like, well, you guys seem like very young and ambitious men. Let's just be honest. There's some people that about your age that, drive cars like these that kind of do stuff illegal. That right there just hit it home.
Oh, the answer I saw, is that why you just stopped me?
Yeah. Like, is statistically in your experience as a police officer, do every car you pull over, does somebody steal it? Does every time you ask for license and registration, it turns out there is none? Because if not, you're just being racist. You're moving off of a narrative that you think would get you to be the right one in the situation and make that arrest.
And see, that's the thing though. Each time I've been pulled over 5 times. 5 times from the age of 17. That last time I got pulled over, that's 2017. That's 22, right? So 5 times, right? So in that time, each time I could have been, like you said, Arion, another poster, another face on a poster. Each time, each and every day when we go out, that could be us. And I'm tired of asking the question, am I next? Because are we? Because truth be told, are we? Because the thing is, it could be just going to the store. It could be just going to the bank. It could be a simple BART ride. Rest in peace, Oscar Grant, a BART ride.
And Nia Wilson.
Nia Wilson, for sure. For sure. That case still scandalous. I don't know nobody said about that one.
Bro, just walking to work, bro. Like, am I next? And I'm tired of asking that question. Because the thing is, and we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard to understand them. Because I remember my dad telling me this one thing, right? Money eases the pain of being a nigga in America, right? But you know what I'm understanding now? LeBron, for example, what happened to LeBron James 2 years ago? at his Brentwood home, they spray painted the N-word on his fence, on his gate,
Man,
right?
it don't matter.
Hey, bro, it don't matter. So here's one thing, bro. This is what I'm going to say. It don't matter how much money you have, no matter how educated you are, no matter how hardworking you are and ambitious and how well you present yourself. They're only going to see one thing: the color of our skin, bro.
If a person says this, and this is a film that I'm writing about interracial couple.
I got a lot of experience with
If
that.
a person says, I don't see color.
Then you part of the problem, bro.
If you don't see color, when you look at me, that means you do not see who I am. You have to understand who I am, what I look like, to even begin to try understand me. You will never fully understand me. You can empathize with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you never fully understand.
But you would never, ever understand how to be a black man. My wife doesn't even want to move to the South because I'm a 6'4" black male.
That's understandable.
You know what I mean? I'm like, babe, we good. Like, I'm chilling. But she feels as though I'm going to say the wrong thing, which I probably will.
You may be 6'4", I still dunk on you, bro.
Don't embarrass yourself. You know what I mean? I'm saying like, dang, like my wife, and I hope she might get mad at this. Whenever she gets pulled over by police, she gets very emotional and cries. Mm-hmm. It could be something like a speeding ticket, whatever it is. She'll cry because she just doesn't know what to do at that moment. Like, she doesn't know what's going to happen. I said, the fact that you feel that way every time you get pulled over is a problem.
It is a problem.
If Con or Karen get pulled over, they're not going to cry. Then I'm like, what is it, officer? Like, it's going to be a simple boom, 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 and he gone.
Oh, they get a warning. But actually, I'm going to tell you this. My first time getting pulled over, right? This was November 2012. So November 2012, I was coming back from the Sweet 16. You may know this girl. Now leave it off air. Jordan, you probably know her. But what happened was I was 17. I just turned 17. And I got pulled over, right? And this was in Castro Valley by Alameda County Sheriff. So I just passed Castro Valley. I just passed Redwood Road on Castro Valley Boulevard. And then, the county sheriff just lit me up once I was just driving, right? Windows down a little bit, just tinted. And I was fully dressed nice. And they pulled me over to a Safeway right there. And then so they're, questioning me, asking me all these questions. They're like, so where are you coming from? I'm like, oh, I'm coming from the Sweet 16. I'm like, okay. No wonder why you're dressed so nice. I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? Okay, so this is my first experience, right? So everything that my parents have talked to me about is leading up to this moment, how I present myself, right? So they're like, so essentially getting down to it, they're like, the reason why I pulled you over is because, we got a report of a suspicious car driving around, and we just know, so your car vehicle met the description, and I'm like, I didn't know that, sir. I just said, honestly, sir, I just want to go home. That's it. And and the cop sees a look in my eye, and he's looking at him. He's like, all right, well, your car is not the description, so, we'll just let you go. Or the cop, so like, he says that my car met the description, or like, so now I drive to this area where it's up in Sandra Hills. And then and Jordan, the spot too as well. Arion, you too as well, up by Bayo Vista. And I remember just parking the car, and then I remember just sitting there crying. And then my mom's calling me like, Ahira, why are you, like, where are you at right now? I'm like, so I told my mom the situation. I got home. She met me outside once I parked the car, and I started crying in front of her. And then she's like, like, my son is Spanish. She's like, I want you to know, like, I'm sorry that you had to go through this, but, unfortunately, this is your first time going through it, but this is going to be the last time. And then, so I'm just asking, like, why me? Like, why all people, right? So then I remember that next, so that was on a weekend. So that was, going back into school, I remember talking all about what happened, talking to friends, and I said something on Facebook too as well. And so what happened was, I remember in my pre-calculus class in Mr. Myers, I was telling the whole story, and then one of my friend, Brandon Estrella, was like, yo, Ahira's kind of mad right now because he got pulled over this past weekend. And then, shout out to Brandon Estrella. But then so Mr. Myers, he stopped the class, and like during our lecture, and he was like, no, so what happened? So I told him what happened. And then I'm not going to say her name, but I will say this. She, after I told the story, you know what she said? No, white girl, blonde hair. She said, I think the police were just doing their job.
And look, but hold up. Before I understand how your emotion would have been in that moment. I just feel like this I feel like we as Black people, we have a right to be emotional. We have a right to know how to channel. We should know how. Oh, I know it was L. I know. All right, that's what I'm putting out there on. It's her.
Chill, very people said
Record the
that.
screen?
Huh?
Didn't it record the screen?
It
No.
records the screen. Yeah, I mean, so what? Anyway,
Hey, look, you know, keeping it a buck.
Expose them. But no, what I'm saying is like, you have to. We can't be upset to a point where that of people ignorance, you know, of not knowing. You know, you feel what I mean? Like we have to.
Yeah.
We have to kind of channel our rage in a way that's more positive, but still get our point across.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we're always
I think education in that instance, if you would have said that to you now, right? The police are just doing your job. There's two ways you can go. And there's a middle way that works. It's like you want to pop off for real and you want to educate. And there's a way to pop off and educate. And
let me tell you something.
Like, you have to learn that though.
Yeah.
It's like
you little white girl get a lot of treatment that's very different than I'm gonna get. So I wanna like I don't know how much time we have left, but I wanna sort of transition into what we can do as a society to fix this deep problem. The way I see it right now is it's like a tree. It's on and all the branches are on fire. You know, they're gonna burn down. But unless we uproot this tree and like nurture the actual roots of the problem, we see this tree burn down every couple of years. You know, I mean, way more recently, but that's due to social media. So there was an article that I read, and I sent it to I think both of you by now, but if not, I'll share it. It's a Harvard Law Reviewed article. I forget who wrote it, but it's essentially about the law enforcement's warrior problem. We, as a country, raised law enforcement to adapt a warrior mentality that we teach them from day one of training, you know, protect and serve with a smile, but also have a plan to kill everybody you meet. Like everybody. There are actual officers that taught everybody you meet, you need a plan to kill, which is something you would only think I don't know, CIA agents and maybe Mossad has to deal with. But talking about restructuring the way that they deal with communities. I personally can't name a single officer in San Leandro. I don't know if anybody else can. But that's because cops that don't make an effort to actually foster their community. If you are a good cop, you know what I mean? And you're one of the good cops that's trying to stand up. You have such a huge responsibility, not only to your people that you're supposed to be protecting, but to your own precinct, to your own officers, to keep them in line. You can't be one of the officers that's in the Minnesota police department and you see this happen and you're just like, well, you know, I bleed blue. Fuck that. Fuck that. You don't bleed blue. It's a job. It's a job you signed up for, and it's a job you trained for. We can't take our skin off, and everybody knows that. But until we have a force that is holding accountability for all of these actions, you know, you see reports of the sickest thing I think I've seen this whole time, and I'll link you guys to this. There's a Reddit page called r/whose bricks are these? Cops are literally on video planting bricks around protests. Start people picking them up and causing mayhem so they can move in and do whoop. And thank God, you know, for our cameras in our back pockets that we can see this and be like, no, we're calling you bullshit. This is this is Orwellian at this point in terms of how fascistic it is. So tapping into solutions, we need to look at it restructuring our police academies around communities that are actually trying to protect. We need to call out bad cops when we see them. We need to not be giving anybody who goes through training a badge. without, you know, really testing them and being like, you know, yeah, you are going to probably put your life in danger every single day. But your job is to make it home at the end of the day and not kill anybody.
Yeah. And I also have to add something towards that as well, right? Jordan, we actually had that conversation.
Yeah.
Community policing. I learned that from my sociology class, right?
Yeah.
It's important that police officers are assigned to a certain community so the community can get to know them, they can trust them, and so they can understand these are the people that I'm very aware of, and that these are their, not, I won't say habits, but are just able to, so there's a level of trust that the police officers are educated on the people that are around there. Mm-hmm. Community policing is the right thing to do, because here's why. Because once a community starts trusting the police officer, they start understanding, like, okay, this is like, for Arion, for example, for you, right? There's community policing, right? Like, yo, I know these people. I know this kid. This kid's been here for years. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So and then so I'm not gonna just randomly pull up and just like, I'm so sorry about that incident that happened. And then so I think that's a step in solving the problem, at least a little bit of something. You know, it's not going to solve everything, but community policing, so that way at least the community from wherever the neighborhood is from can be able to trust the police officer that they are around.
And if I can add just real quick, a point that was brought up to me by a very close homegirl yesterday was that we don't want a society where every single person says fuck 12 to the point where nobody wants to be a police officer. No, the good cops don't even want to join the force because they've been raised to distrust it. We don't want that kind of society, because honestly, we're there. We can't have this many bad cops and be like, you know, oh, it's only a few bad apples. We can't think that way anymore. We don't want to let only the evil in because the good is too afraid to stand up. Right. So I would say to anybody that is looking at a career in law enforcement and wants to be a good cop and wants to do the right thing, really do it. But if you're going to do it, really do it. I mean, you gotta be a hero. You gotta be ready to step from behind the badge and be like, listen, there's injustices in my own precinct, and I need people to hear me out on this. Whether or not I lose my job or not, this is about life. We ain't talking about paychecks anymore. We're talking about life and death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, what do you think, bro?
As I said, I can tell how you guys been saying. We know what's going on. We know the issue. So what can we do to not necessarily resolve the issue, but just make an effort or push forward towards change? I feel like I love the community policing. I feel like that would be very effective. Just like, because it's a familiar face, you know, someone that's very in tune with the neighborhood that they're policing. You know what I mean? Like, because it's like almost like a teacher knowing her students. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, knowing how each individual student learns and all these. What the heck? Who called my name? Sorry.
Huh? Oh yeah, just close it. Thank you.
Anyways, so sorry, that was Carl Nash.
Oh, Carl?
Really?
He lives in the apartment in front of me.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Shout out Carl Nash.
Yeah, but anyways, no, I just feel like what needs to happen right now is, one, Black people need to take this time to like go home, educate themselves. Sorry, my daughter.
Come on, man.
Yeah, just take her on now. Edit that out. Anyways, they need to go home, educate themselves, understand what moves do we have coming out of this pandemic. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, we talked about ownership. We talked about how other nationalities and races, how they do business with each other. Mm-hmm. Black people do the same thing. This is a perfect time to start doing those things. As you can see, no major corporation cares. No. All your neighbors that you have in a neighborhood that may say hi to you and all these things, you're seeing who they are. They're telling you who they are. They've been telling you who they are.
Yeah, like
now it's out and open. You know what I mean? And with the whole George Floyd situation, with the whole Breonna Taylor situation, you feel me? All these things that's happening, this ain't nothing new. It's just that things are being filmed. Racism has never ended. It just been filmed now.
Mm-hmm.
So if we know these things, how can we properly educate ourselves? How can we properly channel our rays in a more positive way? How can we build up our brother and sister? How can we, start to, like right now, with all this pandemic going on and kids are staying at home, not going to school, Black parents should take the time to properly educate their kids on Black culture.
Yeah.
And financial literacy. How to circulate the Black dollar. Like, these are things that we could be doing right now. And people are worried about shoes. I'm like, I ain't worried. I'll say, give me something if you go. But, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not worried about getting on Nikes right now. I'm like, man, what's my move? How I'm flip this situation? Like, you know, what is this time look like next year, 5 years from now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have the resources to have Black Wall Street again. We have the resource to have all Black businesses. We have the resource to have Black-owned grocery store, all these things.
And we have the resources to honestly have our own Black football,
You
basketball
can
leagues.
have on NFL, on NBA, you could literally.
Because like there's such a large amount of Black basketball players are Black in NFL and
large amount, like
NBA.
95%.
Like that's exactly it, bro.
NFL is like probably like 75%.
I'll say this: ownership is the only thing America respects. It always has been. From
That's
the time they came over here on the Mayflower, it was like, this is our land. Native Americans, go fuck yourself. Here's some smallpox. Ownership has always been the number one of America. And until we really get a grasp of that and saying, you know what, fuck all you 6 of you trillionaires that really run the world, we're going to start running our own world until everybody gets on. And, I will say, coronavirus, I've always been looking at, the, you guys still see me? It's in my internet.
Yeah, I see.
It's probably because my computer's. Coronavirus, as deadly as it was, it did give us a chance to get some actual free time. And well, I won't say free time, but we would not be mobilizing like this if we were at work. Because right now we'd be clocking off. And it'd be like, oh, prayers for George Floyd, retweet. But we have, and you sort of notice that maybe this 40-hour work week that we've been designed our system to overwork us for is the point. Maybe they don't want us free time because you see what happens when we get active. So coming back to work is going to be like, it's going to be so different in a lot of ways, but I think we're all going to have an understanding that we are worth more than our paychecks, and our lives are worth more than these dollars.
It is.
That's an interesting point you just said. Now that I think about that, that is so true. About that, you be at work 40 hours a week or more, and God humor is so funny. That's not our humor. I don't know if I ain't believe in God, but I believe in God. And white people can have not done nothing at the most wrong time, right time at the same time.
Right.
Yeah. Like, y'all didn't do a pain when people are not we're not going out nowhere. We're not going nowhere. So now we're bored in the house. Y'all did something. We have nothing but free time. And now we have all this anger and built up time yet we want to go out and do stuff. Now looting happened. Now we got time to organize stuff. Now we got time to meet up with each other. I mean, y'all couldn't have picked a better time. This is like perfect timing in a bad situation.
And we're recognizing that if white terror knows one thing is when they get mad, they get organized. That's the first thing white people do when they get mad.
Mm-hmm.
Or they write a letter.
Facebook group. Now it's a town hall meeting. Now it's we're all gonna put our signs out on the lawn. When we have to adopt these tactics. We have to learn from our enemy and be like, look, we can get organized too. I wish I was in Oakland when you were out there with Stephen Curry, because there was a long time, and I would say like all of 2019 when I was planning to move and I was facing gentrification and trying to, find where I really belong. And it was easy to forget that Oakland is Black, and it was Black and is Black. And with all the the gentrification that tech has brought into the Bay Area and pushed minorities out, it's easy to forget that. But I think it's a beautiful thing that we're remembering these things. We're really thinking about, you know what, we are here and we need to be seen.
I know we're on time. I've been wanting to ask you this whole conversation.
Yeah.
So I would love your perspective with this. In your household, your parents are white males.
Yeah.
White male, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How do they feel having a black son? Not a light-skinned black son, a dark-skinned black son in today's side with everything going on. Like, what is the conversation? Two, and it's males.
Yeah.
So that's we look at white males as a whole different view when we see white males. So how is that conversation happening? Like, what are your conversations like with full discretion to your notes?
Yeah. I'll talk candidly, and I will always talk honestly. It's been a very confusing time in my house, because obviously, you know, everybody cares, but there are certain things that I'm noticing that not everybody knows. So there was one time, I think this was like right after Kobe died, my brother came home and just started crying and hugging on all of us. He was just like, man. And I understood, because I was like, Kobe's a fucking black hero.
Yep.
And we just lost one. Because I cried when Nip died.
Mm-hmm.
Instant. And I saw my parents, you know, be kind of, I could tell that they didn't understand the full impact that it has to see a role model perish like that. Bringing it back to current times, you know, I talked to my dads about this in a way. Like, if you ever hear me talk to my parents, we've always had a very, like, a manner of speaking that's not very, you know, I talk to you guys differently than I talk to my parents. I think everybody does.
I've seen that.
We get ideas across differently, just based on the way that I was raised. And I'll never call that code switching or whatever you want to say it, but that's just how I am. And so I've got these ideas across, that the same things I'm telling you guys. I've made actual choices within my household that foster supporting Black businesses, supporting sustainability over everything. You know, my parents tease me every day about being a vegetarian, but I'm like, look, I don't know if you guys know this, but coronavirus really fucked up the supply chain for meat industries. They just had to murder 7 million chickens, pork, cattle, because the economy isn't prepared to buy them, because nobody's working at these factories. So that's sort of more on the economic side. But I'm gonna bring it back to racially how things are going. It's sort of a tense time. But I told my dad yesterday, I was like, look, I'm gonna go to Alameda to protest. He actually was the one that told me about it. And he was working at the time, and he didn't want to come out. So I was like, well, listen, there's other things we can do. Because I think when you stop the conversation, oh, you're working, I understand, I'll see you. Then it's like, I'm going to be on Instagram talking about educate your family members and then not do it. So I told him about the same thing I was telling you guys about Black dollars circulating, about not giving all our money to Target, about, you know, opening up conversations. I asked my dad right after I got off a very long town hall meeting that LinkedIn had, and he was there for it. He was sitting in the backyard with me listening to it, and I was like, does your company have any of these conversations? And he was like, no. And I imagine that he works with a lot of just programmers, and statistically there aren't many Black programmers. So I see his work community looking at it like, oh, that's crazy. But I'm like, okay, but you have big bank accounts. Programmers make the most money out of anybody in Silicon Valley. So you have an immense amount of power, and now you have responsibility. Now you have and especially in households where parents are white and they've adopted children of color, we need you on our side because white people listen to y'all. Like it's
Need to use your
you have
privilege.
an even bigger leg up on what has to happen, and you have to recognize that. So I'm very happy that conversations are starting like that within my household. I hope that answers kind of the question.
Yeah, I honestly have to say, you know, you got to use your privilege to be able to help us.
Exactly.
First and foremost, if you want to help, use your privilege to help us. But, and not just buying black and donating, but to the cause or organizations and charities. But still,
Speak up.
Yeah, speak up for real.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I want to ask. Okay, so you guys got any books for people to read that you think that they should read into? I got this one by The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. Definitely a great read. Talks about covert racism and systemic racism.
Man.
Definitely a great read. Arion?
I got Conversations in Black by Ed Gordon.
I love it. Love it.
Activists, politicians, leaders like Killer Mike, T.I., D.L. Huey, Stacey Abrams, Maxine Waiters, and much more. It's a great read. Malcolm B. Lee's in here as well.
Perfect.
It's a great read for everyone.
Jordan.
And that Harvard Law Review I was referencing earlier, I guess in the comments we'll link the description to it, but it's written by Steph Stoughton. I want to say Stoughton. It's a commentary by Steph Stoughton.
Right,
and
sure.
as well as for those who are on Netflix, the documentary 13th by Ava Dune.
Oh, I'm about to watch it this weekend.
That was a good one.
I'm gonna watch this weekend, so I haven't seen it yet, but I'm gonna watch
It's
this
a
weekend.
very good documentary, and it points out the fact, not the opinion, not the theory, not the untested truth, the fact that modern day prisons are modern day slavery.
Oh, facts. That's all. That's all.
In a transition.
Yo, there's actually.
Yeah.
It's so funny because, like, you know, there's actually a case that my stepdad was working on when he was practicing law down in Alabama. His name is Johnny Imani Harris, and there's a case that you know what, I will tell that story again, but about like the prison system down in the South that was just completely different where how it is for here in California.
South,
so you instantly know, bro.
know.
So actually, let's do this. Right? Let's do another conversation because there's so much more that we can cover, right? We covered a lot. Let's do another conversation like this sometime next week, and let's continue this going on. Let's continue educating people. You guys would agree about that?
Yeah, man. We started.
Yeah. We ain't got nothing but time.
We got nothing but
time.
All right, man.
I'll have a bucket hat by then.
You have a different bucket hat by then, you said?
Yeah.
But first and foremost, like, another thing is, bro, I appreciate you guys, like, even joining me to talk about this because you guys, like, I've known you guys for several years, Arion for damn near 13, Jordan, you're my brother. So you guys are my brothers, so, and then I appreciate y'all. And so, like, but that's the thing that we need to be able to have these level conversations because we are young, educated black men, and we're going to show that. And the thing is, we are going to help show other people that what we are made of, and we really are. So again, we will have that another conversation sometime next week. But thank you again, guys.
Appreciate
You
you.
know what I mean?
Yep. Stay safe out there. Stay melanated. Stay hydrated.
Stay black.
Whoa.
Stay black.
Stay black.
Stay black.
Assalamu alaikum.
Hey, alaikum salam.
And R.I.P. Nipsey.
Yeah. Shout out Nip. R.I.P. George Floyd. As always.
Floyd.
R.I.P.
Neil. Yeah.
All right, see you.
All right.